when imposterism tends to come up or show its face. So there's some achievement-related task. That task is I have to give a talk, or I have to give a training, or a webinar, or as coaches, I've landed a client who is at a very high level in what they do, and I'm feeling a little overwhelmed or intimidated by engaging with someone who manages so many people. And that creates in me some sense of self-doubt, worry, anxiety. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this off. And that worry then splits the broad pattern over and over again, seems to bear out, is either I tend to procrastinate and put it off, or I tend to over-prepare. So as you're trying to see or identify the pattern, both things happen. Sometimes people just put it off until 24 hours before the deadline, and then work furiously, obsessively even, staying up late into the night, pulling an all-nighter, clearing everything out because now the deadline is there, and pulling it off beautifully. Or they go into kind of over-preparation mode earlier on in the process, and all their time, energy, and effort on this thing. For with me, it's reading. So I've got to read another book about it. There's more I could read, right? That kind of feeling. And then when the person pulls it off, they tend to succeed, either because of that furious burst of energy and activity, if their tendency is to procrastinate, and then flurry of activity, and then pull it off and then crash, or they pull it off quite literally because they are so hyper prepared that they of course do a good job because they know and they have an answer to every question. They're extremely well prepared. And then comes the attribution for why it worked. In the procrastination pattern, it tends to be that people ascribe the why I succeeded to luck. I just got lucky. A million versions of what we say here. But the point is we attribute it to luck, and that luck tends to be the reason we give for why we succeeded. In other words, it's discounting. People come up and say, oh my gosh, it was an amazing presentation, or oh, that was such a great workshop, and it's discount. But again, with over-preparation, interestingly, the attribution in the person's mind is, I killed myself to do it. It's just a matter of the work I put in. It's not me. I'm not good at this, or talented at this, or competent in this. I just put in a ton of work. It's an external attribution. It's not an internal attribution as to why the person succeeded. And in that process, the discounting of positive feedback, the discounting of others' praise or positive feedback, it gets dismissed, deflected, and pushed away. Then, very natural form of positive feedback gets diminished. There's no internalizing of the success. In other words, there's a skill that I'm building here, and I'm getting better at that skill. And the positive feedback was an indication that I'm on the right track, and I got compliments on things that in the past I haven't been as good at. That would be wise of me to hear that as accurate information, like they're telling me something important that maybe I'm not seeing because I'm not the participant, I'm the presenter. And I can internalize and hold that and sit with that and actually believe that, start believing that. That doesn't happen. So perceived fraudulence, increased self-doubt, anxiety, even depression, some of these things can creep back in because none of that success basically was internalized. And then it just repeats itself. And it goes over and over and over again. The dominant fork in the road, or the big fork in the road, is you an overpreparer or are you a procrastinator when it comes to when these things tend to rear their heads. Thanks so much for checking us out. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below for more free brain hacks. And don't forget to check out our course, The Brain Science Advantage, in the link below. Until next time.